Hey everyone, it's Michael, and I have a very special book to talk about today for a review. That is the original Goosebumps classic series era from back in the day in the 90s, A Shocker on Shock Street. This, I don't even have words for it. It's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. I cannot believe, I've never seen the TV episode, and I cannot believe no one recommended this to me. Ever at all. I've heard people say this was their favorite, but I didn't understand why, and all I was focused on always, including when the original cover I think looks a little bit better. This is all I had on hand at the store that I saw, so I grabbed it a while back. I wasn't super excited about getting the book anyway, and now I regret it immensely and feel horrible about feeling that way. Not only could this possibly be one of the scariest Goosebumps books out there, but it has one of the best plot twists at the finale. It has one of the best storylines. It has one of the best, most relatable, in my opinion, as a giant movie fan. It has one of the most relatable stories of Goosebumps. It's one of those kind of coming-of-age type stories, but not entirely. But at that feeling that there's an adventure here that you don't see very often in Goosebumps. You know, and it really messed with me, man. I've always been focused on the giant praying mantis from A Shocker on Shock Street, whether it be the original cover or in the film or here. This needs to be a Goosebumps movie. It needs to be. They need to just ditch the Horrorland idea. As much as I would love to see Horrorland as a movie, you could easily do Shocker on Shock Street, and that be your movie. You could easily do it, and I'd be totally fine with it in every way possible. This, to me, is as good, if not better, than One Day at Horrorland, the original book from the original 62-book run. There's going to be a lot of just love given for this book. This is an amazing Goosebumps book. One of my favorites, easily. Probably in my top 5, possibly. It's incredible. Everything about it's incredible. It was scary. It was suspenseful. It had so much going for it. I'll kind of start at the plot to kind of get the ball moving on this review instead of just rambling like I typically do about how much I love or hate something. Or just think it's meandering. But anyway, Shocker on Shock Street. I've never seen the TV episode, but I want to so badly. I think I'm going to watch it tonight and possibly get a review done tonight. Whether it's uploaded or not is kind of another thing, but I might go ahead and get the review recorded tonight and everything. I'm just so excited to see the TV episode. I hope and pray it is good. If it's not, I'm going to be heartbroken because this is such a good storyline. It's so good. You could not mess this episode up. It might be too small budget, but you never know. Essentially, the book starts up with two kids that love this horror film series called Shocker on Shock Street. There's like 6 or 7 of these things now, and it's kind of a play on Nightmare on Elm Street, the title. You know, the films themselves aren't when they describe the films, but mostly the title. Shocker on Shock Street, Nightmare on Elm Street, kind of the same thing. And these are horror films, of course, because that's what Goosebumps is horror books. And the kids are obsessed with this, and apparently the main character that we read through her eyes, her dad is a big-time theme park designer for things, organizer, whatever. What he works at is kind of the same close-to type thing as Disneyland and like Disney World, but kind of more a little bit small scale than that. But there's still big attractions, right? And the studio who puts out these Shocker on Shock Street films is, again, this is their favorite series of these two main kids. And there's basically a tour done with a tram rail bus thing that has been designed by the father, and he wants these two kids, one of them is his kid, like I said, our main character is his kid, the other kid is not, it's just the best friend character that you typically have in Goosebumps. They're supposed to try this out and be the first kids ever to try out this whole Shocker on Shock Street set tour thing. And it's kind of like a haunted house, kind of like at Halloween time you go to things like Scare-Mare and all that, where you have things jumping out at you and people in costumes screaming in your face, and in some horrible places they're allowed to pee on you and things. If you haven't heard about that, look into that. It happens, and it's apparently real. Ew. Anyway, this is kind of the same concept without the pee. And without the people. It's all possibly animatronics. Then there's things like giant praying mantis, which aren't as big as this cover shows and as the Goosebumps film shows. They might be like the size of a couple of dogs, maybe a little bit bigger than that. But it was just totally horrific and baffling. I did not, in a million years, I never thought this would be what it was. I actually always thought, because of the cover, that the title was a play on Nightmare on Elm Street, and that the book itself would just be like a monster blood type thing, where it'd be like a praying mantis or bugs or whatever get huge. Now tell me that title and that cover don't make you think that. At least the cover, not even so much the title. I've always thought that was Shocker on Shock Street. Never knew a thing about the theme park stuff. Never knew anything about the tram rail stuff. Never knew anything about the film obsession thing. Because like I said, I'm a big film fan. So this is immediately up my alley of a film obsessee dealing with some fandom issues in this case. And like different things will happen throughout the story. Like the different places the tram takes them to see these sets and see just creatures and monsters and stuff that may or may not be robotic. We don't really know. I'm also terrified in real life of animatronics, so that played on that fear a lot for me. There's just some genuinely horrifying, scary things in here. I don't even know what else to tell you about Shocker on Shock Street. There's just so much to take in from it. It's incredible. It's genuinely not anything like I thought it was going to be, which just goes to show with Goosebumps covers, they can be impeccable sometimes, but so misleading. Like in Son of Slappy, for example, that cover does not match what that story is about at all for the Most Wanted series. This cover does not represent, whether it be this cover or the original cover art from Tim Jacobus, they do not really represent what the story is in almost any way, fashion, or form. I feel so shocked. Shocker on Shock Street. I just realized I said that. Anyway, I don't even know what to tell you. The characters are fun here. The adventures they go on, the different things they encounter, the different sets they visit on this tour. Again, the giant, massive plot twist at the end of the book that I did not see coming. I don't think anybody would ever see that plot twist coming. It's amazing. It is genuinely an amazing read. I burned through it. I just started this last night. I finished it up this morning. I've never read Goosebumps books that fast. That shows how fantastic this book is. I don't know what else to tell you. If you haven't read Goosebumps, A Shocker on Shock Street, you're missing out so much on how great this is. If you're a film fan, if you have like a favorite film franchise in the horror genre, like the Universal Monsters films, whether it be the Frankenstein, the Dracula, or anything like that, but mostly in the 80s case, like Nightmare on Elm Street, Child's Play, something like that, Halloween, Friday the 13th, you know, the big ones. It's not that this has cameo references to things like those. It's the fact that this kind of fandom is what a lot of us feel towards those film franchises. If you're like that, if you're a big film fan with a certain franchise, you can relate to this story so easily and have so much fun with it. Like I said, it's genuinely scary. I love things about theme parks, and that's a big portion of this book. I love it. I'm the guy that will get on YouTube and watch videos of people riding roller coasters and stuff just so I can see what it would be like in first person. I don't even have to be on the ride. I can have fun just watching a video of it. This was so good. I don't even have words. This is amazing. This is a perfect Goosebumps book. One of the very few ones that I would say is perfect, like Ghost Camp, like Goosebumps Wanted, The Haunted Mask. Well, mostly perfect, but still, this is a perfect Goosebumps book. One of my favorites of all time. No competition at all. One of my favorites of all time. I could not recommend A Shocker on Shock Street more to you. I don't think I have anything else to say about it. I know this is a short review. I don't want to tell you too much. I want you to enjoy the book immensely. I think that you'll love it if you haven't read it before. Do not let this cover mislead you. Do not. Because it's not some giant praying mantis story, let's figure out how to deal with this monster blood ripoff type thing. It's not what it is. It's amazing. It's completely different. This could have totally been like a Halloween read type thing. Anyway, guys, what are your thoughts on A Shocker on Shock Street? Put your thoughts and comments down below. I'd love to hear what you have to say about my review, about the book, anything. The series, is this one of your favorites? Is it not one of your favorites? I would love to hear what you have to say. If I had to rate A Shocker on Shock Street on a 5-star basis, it should be pretty clear what it's going to be. 5 out of 5. Easily. One of the best I've ever read in the series. I just wanted to pick up a random book just to read it before we get closer and closer to September when I start reading the Halloween books that I planned out for, throughout September and throughout October. So I just picked this up to try to kill time until September gets here, and I had an amazing read. This was one of my favorites. Such a great read, man. Anyway, put your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching. May the Lord Jesus Christ bless you guys today, and goodbye.